So, what are you looking for the governor to say during his COVID-19 update scheduled in Chicago this afternoon? I want to hear from you at 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com, or you can message me via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just search out Bishop on Air, and we can connect that way. So the governor yesterday, talking with reporters here in Springfield, being asked about the mask mandates. This after he took questions on the mask mandates Monday. This is after Friday, late. The governor's mandates were deemed null and void by Sangamon County Judge Raylene Grishow. Of course, the governor appealed that temporary restraining order as schools across the state decided, you know what, we're just going to be mask optional. If you don't want to wear a mask, we're not going to enforce it. You have other school districts that said, you know what, we're going to go remote. We can't handle this. Then even other school districts we're hearing reports of had segregation going on, where students who didn't want to wear a mask were then put into a gymnasium and segregated from other students. I had teachers and parents share with me all across the state stories about teachers segregating students in the back of a class, in a corner tucked away, being socially distant from students who were wearing masks. All of this based off of the governor's COVID-19 mitigations he's had in place for the past 2 years, almost, when it comes to a variety of executive orders. Now, the governor's issued 23 30-day disaster proclamations. So that's 23 months worth. We're approaching the 2-year mark. If you recall, March 16th, I think it was, of 2020, he went on a Sunday talk show, national talk show, and was talking about how, we're probably going to have to limit activity at bars and restaurants because of the spread of COVID-19. Then he followed up that following Monday saying, it's going to happen. We're going to close down some bars and restaurants. And that was the first of it. Then it turned into a more than 10-week stay-at-home order where the governor deemed certain businesses as non-essential, while big box stores and pot stores could stay open. Small mom-and-pop shoe stores were told that they could not allow for people to come inside, severely limiting business. Unemployment went through the roof. We still don't know how much fraud there's been in the unemployment system. He told schools not to have in-person education in the spring of 2020. That disrupted education quite a bit. There was remote learning, but the learning loss was pretty incredible. The psychological harms from kids not being able to take part in sports, the variety of different types of issues that were non-COVID related impacting health, all of these things playing out in the past 2 years. And now we've got where a bunch of states across the country, those states who've had COVID-19 mask mandates in place in the past 8 months or so, there haven't been, the entire country hasn't done this. The entire country hasn't done this. Illinois is an island in the Midwest when it comes to requiring masks for schools. And you look at the other states around, have they had worse COVID situations? Or have they had similar COVID situations? Some of the evidence suggests it was similar, if not even better COVID situations than what Illinois had. With Illinois being the only state in the Midwest that has mask mandates in schools, while there were only about 12 states across the country out of 50 that had mask mandates in schools. So now you're hearing in national news, a lot of states are looking to lift the mandates, and even a hint at Governor J.B. Pritzker set to make some kind of announcement today. Will it impact masks in schools, or is he going to say we're lifting the statewide mask mandate for you to wear a mask going into the hardware store, for instance? Even though if you walk around and go shopping at all, you see that the compliance rate on that is about 50-50. Everybody's experience depends on their own perspective, I guess. But what do you want to hear the governor say? 217-629-7970 is the phone number. Again, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with the WMAY morning news feed. I do want to share just a couple of clips from the governor yesterday talking about COVID-19 and mask mandates. He was in Springfield being asked by reporters and said that he wants to lift the mandate. He said he wants to be the first to lift the mandate when it's safe. And he wasn't really clear, though, on when exactly that would happen. Here's the governor from yesterday in
Now that we have
Springfield.
treatments, widespread vaccinations, testing available, and we all know to wear a mask when things get more difficult and there may be another variant.
And he was pressed for more specifics on all of this. And ultimately, here's was his response.
Stay tuned. We're very close.
So is that today? Is he going to make that announcement today? What's it going to be? Is it going to be a phased-in approach? Is it going to be something that's, by region or by COVID metric, or what exactly is going to happen? But one thing's clear here is the Republican minority at the State House criticizing the governor for going it alone. House Minority Leader Jim Durkin sending the governor a letter saying that his go-it-alone efforts was backed by the Democrats in the General Assembly. I reached out to Democratic leadership to get a response, and they did not respond. I've asked them in person in the past about COVID-19, why they haven't done anything to check the governor's power or even to codify the governor's power, to put into law, kids have to wear masks. They haven't responded, or they'll say, we trust the governor, he's making the right decisions. But Republicans have been demanding information and the science and data, and they say they haven't gotten it. Durkin even saying that the governor personally denied requests to have the administration and officials answer questions by Republican lawmakers, and that never happened. So what do you want to hear the governor say today? 217-629-7970. Thanks for your patience. You're on WMAY.
Well, it doesn't really, I just think that he's been trying to keep us safe this whole time, and I don't understand what the big hype is. I mean, he's been trying to keep us safe. So whatever he says, I'm probably going to agree with.
All right. Got you down. 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning. I'm not really sure I understand if there is possibly any topic that is more important to people in Illinois than this whole COVID mess that he has created, that has impacted people's lives in a bigger way than this, with school, work, everything. So I think he wants everything on his own terms. He wants to control the narrative and the situation. And I think, wonderfully, I think this ruling with the court has kind of pushed his hand. And then to actually have some other Democratic governors across the country kind of relaxing, I think that what he does over the next week or so will define whether he even has one single chance of being reelected in November.
What's your response to the previous caller? I don't know if you heard her, but she said that, hey, he's been trying to keep us safe. And without hearing what he had to say, she said that she'll likely agree with him.
Well, I think that there would have to be some proof, right? And I think there's enough proof surrounding the entire state to say that what has he really done? Take, for instance, that Johns Hopkins study that everybody completely ignores from a legitimate source. I mean, this isn't like it's Bill Nye the Science Guy putting out a report.
I had somebody in Chicago ask him for reaction to that report last week, and his response was he's just trying to keep people safe. That was his goal this whole time. And the report that Johns Hopkins put out said the shutdowns, the lockdowns, had no real significant help with the public health concern, but had significant negative impacts on other aspects of health, like mental health and other things.
Right.
So that's.
So this goes back to what you were talking about the other day internationally, where Matt was asking that guy about the whole, just because you say it doesn't mean that that's true. Show me the facts and show me the proof. And I don't think we're seeing any of those things. And like you said, people have asked for him to show that, and nobody's getting a response. You can't just say these things over and over again for 2 years without providing proof.
And the governor said time and again, masks work. But you've got Republicans and others asking for the evidence to show that it works. I think we've got some anecdotal stuff to look at when it comes to the entire country didn't have masks required in schools. Only a handful of states did, including Illinois. And seems to have been COVID spread everywhere, even in Illinois, quite a bit. So did the masks really work? But again, what do you want to hear the governor say today? He's got a 2 p.m. news conference in Chicago. Good morning.
First of all, Greg, hey, thanks for everything you do there, buddy. We appreciate you out here.
Thank you.
Your first caller, man, she scares me to death. She was like, it's like inform yourself a little bit. That was your last caller. Awesome, nailed it. As far as for me, I would love to see us open up and go back to normal. Let's follow Florida's example and show, hey, if we can go on through this, it's not as bad as everybody thinks. I mean, if you look at the population of Florida, it's vastly senior citizens, and yet their rates and their mortality is far below ours. So that ought to let people know it's not quite as bad as we're all led to believe.
Well, we'll see if any of this data is ultimately discussed at the State House and if they're actually going to take this up. All of these issues that we've had to deal with executive dictates in the past 2 years. I appreciate the call. We'll get a few more in. Good morning. You're on WMAY. Your thoughts? What do you want to hear the governor say?
What I'd like to hear the governor say is that according to Johns Hopkins University and the WHO, it looks like the science was wrong. That's what I'd really love to hear him say. And we did a lot of these things because of that science. I'm going to lift all these restrictions.
Well, we'll bring you the updates here on WMAY, obviously. Appreciate that. 217-629-7970. Good morning.
I want to hear him say that he's sorry. That he's sorry that he denied people due process, that based off fear he went full dictator and oppressed his people, and that he's resigning. That's the only acceptable thing he should be able to say today.
Taking your calls here on WMAY and what you want to hear the governor say at his 2 p.m. COVID update. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, the only thing I want to hear the governor say is that he got the memo from the national talking points from his fellow Democrats, but we're not going to hear that. He's not going to talk about how he's going to have to lessen these measures because other Democrats are doing this around the country. We're just not going to hear that. And I'm kind of tired of this notion that we have to take medicine for other people. We take it for you. You take it for you. I take it for me. And you don't spell medicine without me. That's why we take medicines, for us, to protect us individually. And your other caller seemed catatonic to think for herself. That's alarming. Whatever the governor says I'll do, wow, it's kind of scary. Well,
and fascinating times we're in, no question about it. Appreciate the calls. 217-629-7970 is the number. We'll take, let's see here, just two more calls, all right? Then I got to take a break and get into business in the 217. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Greg. First off, this dictator acts like he's doing us a favor, but my sources tell me that this is not about COVID restrictions. This is about crack pipe distribution around the state of Illinois.
All right. Okay. Don't need to get all Tucker Carlson here. All right. 217-629-7970. One last call. Good morning. You're on WMAY. Thanks for your patience.
Hey, Greg. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Tim? Make it quick. I'm so late for a break.
All right. Real quick. Thanks, Megan, for everything she does because she, I'm sure, makes everything great for you. And I really don't care what he says. I'm tired of it. I just want us to all get along and have fun. I really do.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in person without a mask on, Tim. We'll definitely make that happen sometime soon. I appreciate that. Be safe out there, okay? Got to take a break, everybody. Thanks so much for chiming in and let me know your thoughts. Of course, we'll bring you the updates here on WMAY tomorrow as to what the governor has to say. Of course, we'll have that for you later on this afternoon as well. All right, got to take a break. Business in the 217.